So what we have talked about in this circle unit is a lot of things about circles. We've spent a lot of time talking about measures of arcs. And measures of arc, how do we measure an arc? What units? Nobody wants to talk to me. What units do we use to measure arcs? Inches, feet? Degrees. Yes, we use degrees to measure arc. And today we're going to talk about the length of an arc. My fingers don't want to scroll. The length of an arc, and it has something to do, the length of it has something to do with its measurement in inches or feet or something like that. So it's kind of based on the perimeter of the circle. Now, what do we call a perimeter of a circle? Circumference. The distance around the outside edge of a circle is called a circumference. So the arc length is going to be a little piece of the whole circumference, right? So can an arc length be bigger than a circumference? No. Okay, it's because it's a piece of a circumference. So like on this example right here, we have circle C right here. I'm going to find the measure of the arc length from B to A, which is going to be quite a bit less than the circumference of the whole circle. So our formula for finding that length of an arc is going to be the measure of the central angle over 360 times pi times diameter. And pi times diameter, what's that the formula for? The circumference of a circle. What's the other formula for circumference of a circle? No, that's area of a circle. Yeah, diameter is the same thing as 2 times radius, right? So 2 pi r is the other thing we could use. Okay? So just remember it's the central angle over 360 times the circumference. Central angle over 360 times the circumference. And you can use pi times diameter or 2 pi r. Okay, so here's our first example. Why don't y'all at least draw the picture, then we can fill in the information from what they tell us onto the picture. That would probably be the quickest way to draw it down. Now, just for review purposes, where does the central angle come from?
It's from the middle.
Yeah, it has to be from the center, right? Yeah, central angles are based off the center of the circle. Inscribed angles are the one that's on the edge of the circle, right? Inscribed are on the edge of the circle. Central angles are from the center. And for this formula, remember it's going to be central angle over 360 times pi d. So what is the length of arc AB? So we're looking for the length of this arc, not the measure of it. If it says measure of an arc, you're talking degrees. All right? The length of the arc AB, if the measure of angle ACB is 45 degrees. Well, where do I put 45 degrees at? Yeah, the central angle is 45 degrees. And CA, now what is CA? Yeah, CA is 8, but what is CA in this figure? It's a radius. Very good. So that is 8 units. Okay? So what is if I say I'm looking for the length of arc AB, what is the measure of arc AB in degrees? It's 45, because remember, the arcs are the same as the central angle, right? Okay? But we're looking for the arc length. So the arc length is going to be, remember, it is the central angle, which is how many degrees? 45 over what? 360 times pi times what? The diameter. What's the diameter of this circle? The radius is 8, so the diameter is what? 16. And you could do 2 times pi times 8, which is still 16. Now, I did it pi times 16. Is that the same thing as 16 pi? Yeah, usually rewrite it 16 pi and say pi last. All right, so our calculator is going to work the rest of it for us. Let me clear my stuff out. So we're going to use parentheses. Let me scoot this over so I have space. parentheses, 45 over 360, close parentheses, times, I'm going to type in 16 times pi. Do y'all remember how to get pi on your screen? Yeah, the up key over above the division key. So you're going to hit second. We call that the rooftop button. Second rooftop. And you can use parentheses or you can hit your times button, either one. Okay, but make sure your fraction has parentheses. All right, what are y'all getting? Y'all getting approximately 6.3? Okay, so the length is approximately 6.3? 6.3. What's our units? It didn't say, did it? I should have gave it one. Okay, so you just say units. So if it said centimeters, use centimeters, inches, use inches, whatever. Okay, so it's like if we had this circle and the whole circumference was a string or whatever, and so you're looking at the length from B to A. Does that make sense? So think about it as a string that you have stretched around something, and you can measure that string. Okay, so that's arc length. Its measure is a degree. Its length is in whatever units it's in, because it's based off of the perimeter, distance around. All right, we okay on example 1? All right, let's do example 2. So all you have to do is draw the picture, then we can fill in from there. So it says, what is the length of arc MN if, what does that mean? ON equals 5 units. What does that mean? What does it mean when we see just 2 capital letters? Yeah, it's talking about the segment, but specifically, what's it talking about the segment? Yeah, the measure of it, how long it is. So the measure of segment ON is 5 units. And ON is a what of that circle? It's a radius. And the measure of angle NOM is angle degrees. Now, what is angle NOM? What's it called? The central angle. Yeah. So if the central angle is 80 degrees, what's the measure of arc MN? 80 degrees. Now we're looking for the length of the arc, which is not the same as the measure of the arc. Okay? So we're looking for the measure, or the length of the arc is how many units it is long. So we're going to do arc length equals what? Y'all tell me how to fill in the formula. All right, so 80 over 360 times pi times diameter. What's the diameter of this circle? 10. 5 is the radius, so we double it to get the diameter. Y'all agree? So 10 pi, or pi 10. You can do that in either order. Okay? We okay with how we set it up? All right, calculator will finish it for us. Make sure you use parentheses for your fraction. So parentheses 80 over 360, parentheses times 10 pi. Or pi times 10, either one. Y'all tell me what you're getting. Approximately 7.0. When you round it to one spot, if it's 2 spots, it'll be 6.98. Y'all agree? So arc length is approximately 7 units. All right. Any questions about finding the length of an arc? Okay. Well, that is the end of finding arc length.